everyone, Techni here with a review or a comparison between some of the best 10 keyless keyboards you can find out there, and all of these are from the big name companies. And the cool thing about all of these boards is they all really stand out in a certain way, right? They all have a really cool feature that separates it from other 10 keyless keyboards out there. And that's gonna start off with the Logitech G Pro X 10 keyless keyboard. Then we're gonna go right into the Razer Huntsman TE, coming right over to the HyperX Alloy Origins, 10 keyless again, and then the SteelSeries Apex Pro. Now this is not gonna be a full review of each board. I did actually do standalone reviews for each of these, so you can check those out. I'll leave them right down in the description along with the links for all these boards. But again, right now we're just gonna kind of break them apart and decipher, what makes each of these 10 keyless keyboards special and which one I would pick. All right, so let's kick it off first with the design and the build and the aesthetics of each board. Starting off the Logitech G Pro X, and talking about it being X, that's kind of a stinker about this one. It looks exactly like all the other Logitech G Pro keyboards. It only says Pro on the side, it doesn't even say X. Again, you can't decipher this board from the other G Pros. The only way to do that is popping off a keycap and finding out that it's hot swappable. So that can be a pro or a con to you, right? I think the board looks incredibly awesome. Matte finish on the top, glossy on the side. Yeah, the glossy does attract some fingerprints and whatnot, but it just looks great. Underneath it right here, you got nice big rubber pads right there to keep it in place. Two pop out feet, one there, one for a low level and then a high level. It's just really, really solid. Yeah, you do have basic sprayed ABS keycaps. That's kind of a stinker. Attracts sweat and some grease right there. The one other thing I don't like about it is this big lip up top right there. Yeah, we look at this keyboard and we're like, all right, you see it from a distance, okay, that's the G Pro, right? But again, I feel like this is just wasted space up there. I would have liked to see, I don't know, some media controls or something up here, kind of like how you got the brightness in game mode. Let's put something else up there and utilize that space. Next up, let's take a look at the HyperX Alloy Origins here. And by the way, real quick, these keycaps do not come on it. These are actually the pudding keycaps, the HyperX pudding keycaps. I got a set of white and black on it. Just kind of created a little design, put my red RGB back there. It looks just so good like that. But anyways, as far as the Origins itself, it is just simple and to the point, and I absolutely love it. I mean, number one, straight out the box, the first thing you notice is the build quality. This thing has a nice amount of hefty weight right there. Not too heavy, not too light. You can still move it around, but the top and bottom all around this board is metal, and it is stinking solid. Yes, the basic keycaps are sprayed ABS, so that is a stinker, but again, you can get these HyperX caps for like, I don't know, 15 bucks a box or something. I mean, you don't need two boxes here, you know what I mean? You also have two pop-out feet on the bottom right here, a low one and then a high one, and then some grips right across there. The other weird thing about this board, which is, I don't know, maybe just me, I don't like how they put the USB-C connector on the right side of the board. I would have rather it be on the left side, or again, maybe underneath with a router on it. So that's just something different there, nitpicky, but different. And next up is the Razer Huntsman TE, coming right in line with the HyperX Alloy Origins there. It's just a basic, crisp, solid design. Nothing fluffy on it. Bam, you get your keyboard and that's what you have right there. And it's solid. Nice aluminum plate right on the top right here. But yes, the bottom of this board is plastic, so it is lighter. Actually, the lightest out of all these right here. But the really cool thing about this guy, you have double shot PBT keycaps, the Razer keycaps that are on this guy. Really, really solid feel right there. And again, going right to the HyperX one right here, I love the minimalistic look. And it's just, again, straight to the point, very crisp and stealthy looking. All right, so next up is the SteelSeries Apex Pro right here. And yes, as you can see, this is the only one with the attached cables. All the other ones had detachable cables, which is actually pretty nice. I mean, this has a USB port right on the back right here that you can see. I mean, you can route the cable back there, but it is a very chunky cable, and it does kind of get in the way sometimes. Now, the design of the Apex Pro is just absolutely sleek and awesome as well. Minimalistic branding right on the front right there that says SteelSeries. Yes, unfortunately, like the other two over here, the Logitech and HyperX, you do have sprayed ABS keycaps, so Razer's definitely taking a win right there, you know what I mean? But the Apex Pro, as you see right here, which we'll get into later, you have the screen, volume wheel, media controls, which also goes into controlling your switches and all sorts of stuff. So this guy, as minimalistic it is, really small right here, it's packing so many stinking features. And the build is solid. I mean, you got the aluminum plate right on the top. Yes, the bottom is plastic, a very thick plastic, and you actually only have one level of pop-out feet on this guy. But again, no flex whatsoever across all these boards right here. Very solid build on all of them. All right, so now let's get into the juicy stuff here. Let's talk about the features and the benefits and what makes these keyboards really stand out and again go against each other. All right, so let's kick it off with the Logitech G Pro X. And number one, straight to the point right here, the biggest deciding factor of that guy is it is hot swappable. You can get the Logitech red switches, the blue switches, or the brown switches. Mine is stocked with the blues, but when you go to Logitech's website, you can actually get it stocked with whatever switch you want and then pick out a box of switch you desire. You get these for 50 bucks, but you can put any other switch in it right there and it works perfectly fine. Now, when you buy at big box retailers, they're gonna all come with basic stock blue switches and they are gonna be soldered on there. So if you like the blues, again, it'll be just like this here, which let's go on and get a sound test. So as you just heard with the Logitech G Pro X, very crispy, very nice sounding. Yeah, that space bar is a little bouncy right there, but everything else sounds really nice and crisp. Actually, the red switches are 1.9 millimeters of actuation, browns are also 1.9, and then the blues are 2.0, and they all have a 50-gram force. So that is a very big feature of this. Number one, seeing it come from one of these big companies, having a hot swappable board, really, really cool to have that, again, to give you those options to try different switches or even customize the different switches across your board. That is super cool, and that's what really sets apart the G Pro X from any other board. All right, so now let's talk about the HyperX Alloy Origins. And the new thing about these HyperX keyboards, the Origins keyboards, is they created their own new switch. And let me tell you what, these switches feel amazing. They're actually 1.8 millimeters of actuation and then 45 grams of force. And let me tell you what, they are butter smooth, super soft, and very fast. So as you just heard in that sound test right there, I mean, these things are crispy. That's even with the stock caps. It sounds just like that right there. Very nice and just, again, solid across the board right here. The space bar, yes, is a little bit bouncy on this guy, but everything else isn't really that bad. And that's what really separates this board from the other ones. Number one, you're not buying anything fluffy right here. You're getting a fantastic switch, a fast switch, and then your gaming keyboard with an amazing build. All right, so the Razer Huntsman TE. I mean, just looking at this thing, you can see the difference. We're using the Razer optical mechanical switches right here, and let me tell you what, these things are stinking fast. 1 millimeter of actuation right there and 40 grams of force. Wow, these things are soft and super duper fast. You really feel the difference right out of the gate. You also hear the difference, which is the one downfall of this keyboard for me, to be honest with you, why I can't use it. It is loud. All right, so as you just heard in that sound test right there, I mean, this guy is loud. And yes, it's just red linear switches. They're not blue clickies or anything. And no, the keycap is not bottoming out on the board. What it is that optical switch. The keycap comes down and hits the top of the switch right there. it is loud. It really is. So if you're into that loud keyboard, I mean, you got to win right here. This guy feels fantastic. The PBT keycaps that come on it, again, it's ready to go right out of the gate. All right, so last up is the SteelSeries Apex Pro, and I'm sure you all know what really separates this guy right here. Again, going back to that little screen and your dial, you have omni-point switches right here, which you can adjust the actuation point right there. Starting off at 0.4 millimeters, going up to 3.6 with 45 grams of force. These guys are butter, stinking smooth, and super fast, the fastest out of any. And yes, you can tell the difference. Again, going right back to the Razer TE over here, you can feel the difference with that. Heck, even with the HyperX, you can feel the difference. But coming over here to the Apex Pro, you can even tell the difference compared to these two fast boards as well. Now, the whole board's not omni-point, which is kind of a stinker. Your arrow keys and then your function layer are not omni-point. They're just basic reds. But again, I don't know. I never use any of the other ones, so I'm just pretty much on those. But yes, you do tell the difference. It is so stinking fast. And the really cool thing about it, talking about the screen, is you can set different profiles, because no, you don't want 0.4 millimeters of actuation whenever you're just typing. You're gonna have typos all over the place, you know what I mean? So it's nice to be able to crank it up a bit right there and have yourself a typing profile, which is what I do. All right, so now that he just mentioned about being able to change the actuation on the Apex Pro, I wanna talk about some of the faults with each board. Number one, starting with the Razer Huntsman TE, and that goes right with the typos, right? You have the actuation of 1 millimeter, super soft keys right here. I mean, I can't recommend this thing for typing. This is a fantastic gaming keyboard, again, if you can deal with that sound. But as far as typing, I'm sorry, there's typos all over the place, for me at least. And then as far as the HyperX Alloy Origins, the two things I don't like about it is a really clanky spacebar, not a deal breaker by any means. Again, I'm picking right here on all of these, and then that cable on the right side. And with the Logitech G Pro X, kind of like how I stated in the beginning, I don't like that big bulky lip on the top right there, and I would have loved for it to be able to decipher, hey, this is the Pro X and not just the Pro. And yes, the Apex Pro has a fault as well. That is that attached cable right there. It's just a stinker, it's big and it's thick, and you kind of got to route it around on your desk. It's kind of a pain. All right, so now the biggest point, and maybe the biggest deciding factor between each board right here, is price. And those prices really go right in line with each keyboard. Talking about $180 on the Apex Pro, adjustable switches, the awesome screen where you can adjust stuff right from it with your media controls and everything. You're really paying for what you get, which is really awesome over here. Say you don't want to be able to control your switches. Bam, you come right down to the Razer and you get those really fast switches, PBT keycaps, and you have a fantastic gaming keyboard right here. Bring it down even more if you want a switch that's fast but not as fast and basic to the point, $90, HyperX Alloy Origins. And again, with that $150 with the Logitech, if you like the blues, save some money, get the retail version with the soldered keys, $130. So again, the features really justify the price per each board. I don't know if I can say one is better than the other. I can tell you my favorite, which you all probably know, right, is the SteelSeries Apex Pro. This thing's been on my desk for quite a while right here. I absolutely love this board. It's just nice being able to choose the different profiles, right? My second up would probably be the HyperX Alloy Origins, because it's just straight to the point. It's what you're getting. A fantastic switch, a fantastic keyboard. Spacebar stinks, but whatever. Again, a great out-the-door keyboard. The two that are last on my list is the G Pro X and the Razer. The reason, again, the Razer's not really high on my list is number one, that sound, I can't stand it. And then secondly, I place it as only a gaming keyboard. It's really difficult to type on, a lot of typos. With the Logitech, it takes up a bigger footprint. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Again, that bigger footprint. And I don't really change my switches. I put my switches in there, my reds, and that's all I use. But again, if you wanted a deeper dive into each of these keyboards, again, I did a standalone review for each of them, really detailed sound test, RGB and everything. We dove into all of them. Again, linked right down in the description. So hey, let me know down in the comments which one you prefer, or which one you really like, or heck, which one you use. But hey, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this quick comparison between these big hitters right here. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions if you're looking at any of them, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for future tech videos. Hey, I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye now.